So what even is productivity anyways? For the longest time, I thought it was supposed to look something like this. But perhaps it's supposed to look more like this. So the situation that I found myself in was that I was trying to be more productive without knowing or understanding what that actually meant. So in this video, I'm going to cover how I currently think about productivity. So if you were to Google what productivity is, you would find that it's typically defined as output over time. But I find a more useful way to think about it is, what is the value that we can generate? And so when we have this equation, if we want to be more productive, there's two ways we can go about doing that. We can either decrease the time or we can increase the value. And if we look at decreasing the time, what we're really talking about is improving our efficiency, decreasing the time it takes to perform an activity. So if I'm trying to exercise and I'm so disorganized that it takes me 10 minutes to find my gear, another 10 minutes to pick out what workout I want to do, to get to 30 minutes of exercising, that is not as efficient as if I set up the system so it takes me very little time I can reap the same value in less time. Now, the other way that you can go about improving your productivity is to increase the value. And what we're really talking about here is our effectiveness. When we perform an activity, how can we make that activity generate more value or choose a better activity that is more valuable than another one? So if I had the option to work on two different projects that were each going to take me 10 hours and one paid twice as much as the other one, then it's pretty clear which one is more effective, going to add more value. But this is where it gets challenging, because how do we determine what is value? If we were to look at the total value that we generate, what is that made up of? And understanding the makeup of the value that we get out of life and that we generate within our lives is where we struggle. If we just optimize for one and let the other ones go out of balance, then we're not going to be as productive as we can be. And the other things to consider is that value is not universal. It's not the same for everyone, everywhere, every time. It's not static either. So even if you figure out what it means for you today, it could change in an hour, in a day, in a week, in a year, and we can't abstract it out. It has to add real value, real meaning to our lives. If I work on improving my typing speed from 50 words a minute to 150 words per minute, but I never actually use that increased speed to generate anything valuable within my life, then it isn't real. It's just an abstract concept that I improved upon without connecting it to my real life. Another thing to keep in mind is that even if we select something that's valuable and we try to optimize for that, there's going to be diminishing returns. The more you have of something, the more that something becomes less and less valuable. For example, $1,000 means a lot more to me than it does to Elon Musk. And it's the same across every dimension that we have. So when we think about how we can become more productive, it needs to be a constant conversation that we're having with ourselves. We can't just set it and forget it and keep driving for the same things over and over again. We need to be within balance. And if we're not, that could lead to toxic productivity, where instead of optimizing for value, you're just trying to optimize for activity, of just doing things for the sake of doing them. And it becomes an obsession of being busy versus adding value. So thanks for watching. Let me know if you think that I'm onto something here, or if you think that I'm completely wrong, or if you have any useful ways for thinking about productivity. I would love to hear about them. Just put them down in the comments below, and I'll see you all next time.